Olivia adjusted the worn straps of her apron and wiped the grease from her hands. The outpost was quiet, far from the bustling colonies of human space perched on the edge of a dusty planet where the sun barely reached the horizon. She had been working alone for weeks, fixing old machinery left behind by explorers who had long since moved on or vanished. Every clang of metal and hiss of steam was a reminder of the solitude she had chosen for herself. It was not loneliness, it was focus. Her workshop was a patchwork of old panels and gadgets that hummed with energy. Tools hung from every available surface and cables snaked across the floor in a chaotic tangle. Olivia had a system only she understood. She moved with practiced ease, inspecting an old mining drone that had lost power months before. Her eyes traced over the wiring, following circuits like rivers of light she imagined running beneath the surface. She had repaired machines like this before, but each one had its own personality, its own small mysteries hidden in its core. That evening, a windstorm blew across the plains, stirring dust into the air. Olivia was tightening a bolt on a servo arm when a strange shadow passed over the doorway. She looked up and saw a figure approaching, cloaked and hooded, walking through the thick dust as if it was nothing. The figure carried something bulky over the shoulder, the shape of it shifting with every step. Olivia felt a flutter of curiosity in her chest. Visitors were rare, and even more so in storms like this. The stranger entered the workshop and placed the burden on the floor. Olivia stepped closer and saw the broken form of a robot, unlike any she had ever encountered. Its body was sleek but fractured, a blend of metal plates and energy conduits that pulsed faintly with light. Strange markings ran along its limbs, etched deep into the alloy, glowing softly in the dim light of the workshop. The stranger did not speak, only nodded toward the machine and then vanished back into the dust storm, leaving behind silence. Olivia circled the robot, examining it from every angle. She had seen many machines in her life, but this one was different. The energy patterns in its circuits were not like the human designs she knew, nor did they resemble anything from the colonies she had repaired for. She knelt and ran her fingers along a cracked panel, tracing the glowing lines that seemed to hum under her touch. Despite its damage, she could feel a strange warmth coming from within, almost like the machine was alive in a way she did not fully understand. Her assistant drone, a small hovering unit named Puck, buzzed around nervously. Puck had always been cautious, programmed to detect potential threats. It whirred and projected a series of warning signals, but Olivia ignored it. Her instincts told her that this machine was not a danger, not yet. Curiosity was stronger than caution. She fetched her toolkit and began dismantling the damaged panels with gentle care, making notes of every anomaly she found. There were circuits interwoven with something resembling crystal, tiny shards embedded into the metal that glowed with a soft light. She had never seen anything like them before. Hours passed unnoticed as Olivia worked. Sparks flew and steam hissed as she replaced worn wires and recalibrated joints. Every movement revealed more mysteries. Hidden compartments opened under careful pressure, revealing data modules and memory cores that contained fragments of information. She connected a reader and watched as streams of images flickered across the console. There were landscapes she could not name, structures that defied human engineering, and symbols that seemed to pulse with meaning beyond comprehension. Olivia felt a shiver run down her spine. This machine was not just broken. It carried secrets from a world she had never known. By morning, she had completed the primary repairs. The robot lay still, but there was an anticipation in the air, a tension that made the hairs on her arms stand up. Olivia held her breath and pressed the activation switch. The lights along the robot's body flared, bathing the workshop in an ethereal glow. The circuits hummed, resonating with energy, and then the machine's head lifted. Its eyes were pools of liquid light, focused and aware. Olivia stepped back instinctively, her heart pounding in her chest. The robot spoke, its voice melodic yet mechanical, and said her name. It was as if it knew her, had been waiting for her, or remembered her from some long-forgotten time. Olivia stumbled backward, caught between awe and fear. Puck hovered close, emitting a series of defensive signals. The robot extended a hand, delicate and precise, and a soft hum filled the air. It spoke again, conveying fragmented thoughts and images that Olivia could barely comprehend. Memories of a war fought long ago, of beings with pointed ears and fire-breathing dragons, of a civilization that had vanished, leaving only whispers and shadows in the corners of the galaxy. Olivia's mind raced to understand the connection. This machine was more than a repair job. It was a messenger, a link to a past she had only read about in ancient archives. The room seemed to pulse with energy as the robot's circuits came fully online. Olivia felt the gravity of the discovery settling around her. Every instinct screamed that nothing would ever be the same again. She realized that repairing this broken robot had not just fixed a machine. It had opened a door to secrets and dangers she could not yet see. Her life of solitude, of quiet tinkering, had ended the moment the robot's eyes focused on her. She stepped closer and reached out, tentative but compelled by the force of curiosity and responsibility. The robot responded, mirroring her movements, and then projected a map of stars across the wall. Distant worlds flickered into view, connected by lines of light she could barely follow. At the center was a planet unfamiliar, glowing with the same energy she had traced in the robot's core. It was a place calling out across time and space, and now it was her task to understand it. Olivia's thoughts swirled as she watched the images, feeling both excitement and fear. She had been a mechanic, a fixer of things broken by time and neglect. Now she was part of something far greater, a story that stretched across centuries and civilizations. She did not yet know what lay ahead, but she understood one thing clearly. The broken robot had found her, and in doing so had changed everything. The quiet outpost, the lonely days of repair, the life she had built for herself, they were all gone. In their place was a path into a world of mysteries, of lost civilizations, and perhaps of war. Olivia took a deep breath, steadying herself for what she knew she could not avoid. The adventure had begun. Olivia spent the day studying the robot she had repaired. It moved with smooth precision, its joints silent yet powerful. She named it Eno and began exploring its functions with care. The robot displayed images and symbols from a world she had never seen. Towers rose into clouds and dragons soared in skies lit with strange suns. Olivia could not believe her eyes. The circuits within Eno were more complex than any human technology she had encountered. Small shards of crystal glowed softly within the wiring and emitted pulses that seemed alive. Her assistant drone Puck hovered nearby, scanning Eno constantly. Warnings flickered across Puck's sensors, but Olivia ignored them. She needed to understand what Eno was. She called her friend Megan, a researcher familiar with alien technology. Megan arrived quickly, carrying a portable scanner and a stack of old reference books. Together they examined the robot. Megan was amazed by the hybrid design. The crystals within Eno were not only energy sources but also storage units for memory and history. Each pulse contained fragments of stories, images of places, and knowledge from a civilization lost long ago. Eno's movements were deliberate, as if it understood their curiosity. It displayed more images, showing battles fought long before human colonies spread among the stars. Olivia and Megan saw elves wielding weapons of light and dragons breathing fire across distant mountains. Olivia shivered as she realized that this was not just a machine. It was a living record of a civilization wiped from history. As they continued, Eno began projecting memories directly into Olivia's mind. At first it was confusing, flashes of color and sound that made her dizzy. Slowly the images took shape. She saw a forest with trees taller than any building she had ever known. Figures moved gracefully between them, their ears pointed and eyes bright. One figure stood out, an elf woman with silver hair and eyes like amber. Beside her, a dragon with scales that shimmered in the sunlight circled above. Olivia felt a connection she could not explain. The images showed the elf woman, Lysara, commanding machines similar to Eno in battle. They fought against a mechanical horde that moved with precision and malice. Olivia understood that Eno had been part of this war. It had carried messages, fought in battles, and preserved memories of the conflict. The thought was overwhelming. Olivia realized that repairing the robot had not only awakened it, but also reactivated a link to a lost world. Megan examined the energy signatures of Eno's core. The crystals emitted waves that resonated with the surrounding atmosphere. Strange patterns formed, reacting to Olivia's presence. Megan noted that the energy was similar to old legends of the Elvari, a race thought to be extinct. Olivia felt a mix of awe and fear. The robot was more than a machine. It was a key to a history she had never known, and a civilization that might still exist in some form. While they worked, distant sensors across the planet began to detect unusual energy readings. Olivia noticed that the signals matched the pulses from Eno's core. It was as if the robot was sending a silent call across the stars. She wondered who or what would respond. Megan warned that they might be drawing attention from unknown forces. Olivia understood the risk but could not stop. The need to know was stronger than the fear. Eno began to communicate through more complex projections. It showed maps of hidden locations beneath the planet's surface. Chambers built long ago, designed to protect knowledge and powerful artifacts. Olivia saw that one chamber contained a beacon, a signal meant to guide survivors or allies to safety. The beacon had been dormant for centuries, and now it was awakening because Eno was active. As they explored the projections, Olivia began noticing patterns in the robot's memory. The images of Lysera and her dragon Veyron were not just memories but instructions. The elf woman had designed Eno to interact with humans when the time was right. Olivia realized that she had been chosen to understand this knowledge and perhaps to act upon it. The weight of responsibility pressed on her, but she felt ready. The workshop seemed alive with energy. The walls glowed faintly from the light of Eno's core. Every object hummed with the presence of history and power. Olivia moved carefully, connecting additional circuits to enhance the projections. Puck monitored the energy spikes but stayed close, as if curious as well. Megan assisted in decoding the symbols etched into the robot's frame. Together they pieced together fragments of a language that described locations, resources, and strategies from the war long ago. Suddenly, Eno projected an image of the alien warships, ships that had attacked Lysera's people. Olivia's heart raced as she realized that these ships might still exist or their remnants might be active in the galaxy. The robot's core pulsed in warning. Olivia felt the urgency. They needed to act quickly to understand the full extent of the information before it was too late. In the following hours, Olivia and Megan worked tirelessly. Eno's projections became clearer and more detailed. They could see entire armies of elves and dragons, structures of unknown material, and weapons that seemed alive. Every projection carried a lesson and a warning. Olivia felt a connection to the past and a sense of purpose she had never known. The robot was teaching her not only history, but also the path she might follow. As night fell, the outpost was silent except for the hum of machinery and the occasional pulse from Eno's core. Olivia sat back, exhausted but exhilarated. She understood that this robot was a bridge to another world, and that she was now part of a story far greater than her solitary life had ever been. The crystals glowed softly, casting light across the workshop, and Olivia felt a quiet determination. She would uncover the secrets hidden within the circuits, follow the path Eno had opened, and face whatever challenges lay ahead. The journey was only beginning, and already it had changed her forever. Olivia could feel the energy of Eno pulsing stronger as she continued her work. The robot projected more detailed visions, drawing her into memories of a world she had never seen. The forest landscapes were lush and vibrant, with trees taller than any building she had ever known. Streams of clear water flowed between them, reflecting sunlight that filtered through the thick canopy. In this strange and beautiful place she saw figures moving gracefully, elves with eyes bright and hair flowing, their movements precise and full of purpose. One figure stood out above all. A woman with silver hair and eyes that glowed amber, commanding attention without force. Beside her, a massive dragon sword, its scales shimmering like molten metal. Olivia felt a pull towards this scene, as if the forest and its inhabitants were reaching out to her through time and space. Eno continued to project its memories, showing battles fought with mechanical forces that moved without hesitation or feeling. Olivia realized that these elves had once faced a great enemy, a force of machines that sought to consume or destroy everything in their path. The images revealed the strategies, the weapons, and the courage of the elves. Lysera, the silver-haired elf, stood at the center of it all, leading her people and commanding the dragon Veyron. Their bond was strong, a connection between human-like intelligence and the raw power of fire and flight. Olivia understood that this bond had been critical in the defense of the elven world. As Olivia watched, the projections shifted, showing moments of sorrow and loss. Cities reduced to rubble, forests burned, dragons fallen in battle. Eno carried the memories of those who had fought bravely, recording their experiences to ensure they were not forgotten. Olivia felt a sense of awe and sadness. The robot was not just a machine, but a guardian of history, a vessel of memory that connected her to a civilization thought lost. Megan studied the energy readings with fascination and concern. The crystals within Eno's core responded to the images, their glow intensifying and shifting in color. Megan realized that the energy was not merely a power source but a form of memory storage and projection, a method the elves had used to preserve their culture and knowledge across time. Olivia marveled at the ingenuity of a civilization so advanced, yet so connected to life and nature. The projections became interactive, drawing Olivia further into the memories. She could feel the wind of the elven forests, hear the roar of dragons, and sense the urgency of battle. Lysara and Varen appeared closer now, almost tangible. Olivia could see the intelligence in the dragon's eyes, a creature that was not only powerful but deeply aware of the stakes. The elf woman's commands were precise and clear, her connection with Varen evident in every movement. Olivia realized that Eno had been designed not only to remember, but also to guide future allies, to lead them toward safety and knowledge when the time was right. The projections revealed hidden chambers and artifacts, places built to withstand the test of time and war. Olivia understood that one of these chambers contained a beacon, a signal to call for help or to guide those who survived. The beacon had been dormant for centuries, waiting for the right conditions to activate. With Eno operational, the signal had begun to pulse, reaching across the stars. Olivia felt the weight of responsibility. Activating Eno had not been a simple repair. It had set in motion events that could change the fate of worlds. As the day turned into night, the workshop glowed with the soft light of Eno's core. Olivia worked with Megan to decode the symbols etched into the robot's body. Each symbol revealed information about strategies, locations, and technologies used by the elves in their war. Olivia realized that these were not merely instructions but lessons, guidance for those who might follow in the future. The connection between past and present was becoming clear. She was no longer just a mechanic. She was part of a story that spanned centuries, linking humans with a civilization that had long vanished. Eno projected a final sequence for the evening. The images showed Lysara standing before a massive portal, Varen coiled protectively beside her. The elves were preparing to face a final wave of mechanical enemies, and the outcome was uncertain. Olivia could feel the tension and fear as if it were her own. She understood that this vision was not only a record but also a warning and a guide. The world she had seen through Eno's memories was in danger, and the lessons of the past could help prevent the same destruction from happening again. Olivia sat back, taking in the full scope of what she had learned. Eno was more than a robot. It was a bridge to another time, a vessel of memory and guidance. Lysara and Varen were no longer just images but symbols of courage, intelligence, and the bond between beings of different forms and powers. The workshop felt alive with energy, and Olivia felt a renewed sense of purpose. She had been chosen to understand these secrets, to carry them forward, and to act when the time came. As she prepared to rest, Olivia knew that the next steps would not be easy. The beacon had been activated, and distant sensors might respond to the energy signals. Unknown forces could be drawn to her location, and the past could collide with the present in ways she could not yet predict. But she felt ready, strengthened by the knowledge she had gained and the connection she shared with Eno and the memories of Lysara and Varen. The adventure was unfolding, and Olivia was at the center of a story that would shape the future of both human and elven civilizations. The distant hum of energy signals filled the outpost as Olivia worked through the night. Eno's core pulsed with growing intensity, illuminating the workshop with a soft golden light. The projections of Lysara and Varen continued to shift and expand, revealing hidden locations beneath the planet's surface. Olivia and Megan moved quickly, mapping the areas shown in the images. The sense of urgency weighed heavily on them. Each moment brought the possibility of new discoveries but also the risk of attention from unknown forces. Suddenly, distant alerts flashed across the monitors. Megan rushed to the main console and scanned the signals. Olivia could see her worry. 3 ships had arrived in orbit, large and unfamiliar, broadcasting messages that demanded the surrender of Eno and the humans who had repaired it. Olivia felt a chill run down her spine. These were not ordinary visitors. They were part of a force that had tracked the energy signals from Eno's core. Time was running out. Olivia and Megan quickly organized the outpost, preparing for the arrival of the ships. Human mechs were activated and armed, while defensive systems hummed to life. Eno projected further instructions from its memory, showing ancient defensive strategies used by Lysara and her people. Olivia followed the guidance carefully, merging human technology with the knowledge from the elf projections. Puck hovered nearby, assisting with sensors and communication. Every movement was critical as the enemy fleet descended into orbit. Beneath the outpost, hidden chambers revealed themselves in Eno's projections. Olivia discovered a large stasis pod, covered with crystalline growths that pulsed faintly. Inside lay Lysara, preserved for centuries along with Veyron the dragon. Olivia felt a surge of awe and responsibility. These beings represented a living link to the past, and their awakening could turn the tide against the approaching threat. With careful coordination, she initiated the procedures to awaken them, guided by the instructions projected by Eno. The chamber began to glow with light as the process continued. Veyron's crystalline husk shimmered and the dragon slowly stirred. Lysara's eyes opened, revealing a strength and clarity that had not faded with time. She rose from the stasis pod and looked around the chamber. Olivia felt a mixture of relief and determination. With Lysara and Veyron awake, the outpost transformed into a fortress of combined human and elven knowledge. Outside, the enemy ships began their assault. Energy beams cut through the skies and explosions rocked the terrain. Olivia coordinated with Megan and the outpost's defense systems, using the strategies learned from Eno's memory projections. The human mechs moved with precision, guided by ancient tactics from Lysara's war. Veyron took to the sky, flames erupting from its mouth to intercept the enemy fire. The combination of human technology and elven power created a formidable defense. The enemy fleet was relentless, moving with the cold efficiency of machines designed for destruction. Olivia and Lysara worked together, merging strategies from centuries apart. The dragon's fire and the mech's weaponry formed a coordinated response that pushed back the attackers. The outpost itself seemed to come alive with energy, channels in the floor and walls glowing as they powered shields and defensive systems. Every moment was a struggle, but Olivia felt the determination of past and present converging to protect this place. As the battle continued, Eno's energy surged, merging with the hidden chamber's crystals. The robot's core became a conduit for the ancient power, amplifying the strength of Lysara and Veyron. Olivia watched in awe as the outpost transformed into a beacon of light and defense. The enemy ships began to falter under the combined force, their attacks less coordinated as the ancient strategies disrupted their plans. The sky was filled with light and motion. Veyron circled above, flames cutting through the darkness while human mechs engaged with precision and courage. Lysara commanded both, her voice clear and strong, guiding their efforts. Olivia directed energy flows and defensive systems, feeling the connection between past and present as a new harmony of power emerged. After hours of intense struggle, the enemy fleet began to retreat. The combined force of human and elven tactics had held the line, protecting the outpost and awakening a new alliance. Olivia felt exhaustion mixed with exhilaration. They had survived the first wave, but she knew the danger was not over. The signals from Eno's core had been noticed by more forces across the galaxy, and the fight was far from finished. Lysara approached Olivia, her eyes filled with gratitude and understanding. Veyron landed beside them, shaking off sparks and glowing shards from the battle. Olivia realized that repairing Eno had not only awakened a robot, but had also reawakened a civilization long thought lost. The outpost had become a nexus of power, a symbol of resilience and unity across time and space. As the sun rose over the horizon, painting the sky with warm hues, Olivia stood with Lysara and Megan, looking out at the calm after the storm. They had faced the first challenge together, and the bond between humans, elves, and dragons had been forged in the heat of battle. Olivia knew that the journey ahead would be even more dangerous, but she felt ready. The war that had once destroyed a world was reigniting, and she would be at the center of it, guiding allies and confronting enemies with the knowledge and strength of those who had come before. The sky above the outpost glowed with the aftermath of the battle. Energy pulses from Eno's core had subsided but continued to hum with potential. Olivia stood alongside Lysara and Megan, surveying the damage and the calm that followed the storm. Veyron rested nearby, wings folded, scales reflecting the dim light as if the dragon carried the memory of the battle in every shimmer. Olivia could feel the connection between them, human and elf, dragon and machine, all bound by the events that had unfolded. Eno hovered close, its core glowing faintly, projecting new sequences of information. Olivia studied the projections carefully. They revealed the presence of the remaining remnants of the mechanical horde that had once destroyed Lysara's civilization. These forces were scattered across the galaxy, waiting for an opportunity to strike again. Olivia realized that the outpost was no longer just a home or workshop. It was now a key point in a larger conflict, a beacon of hope for any allies who might respond to its signal. Lysara stepped forward, her presence commanding attention. She spoke to Olivia and Megan with clarity and urgency, describing strategies and hidden locations where survivors of her civilization had fled. The dragon Viren roared softly, the sound resonating through the chamber as if affirming the plans. Olivia listened intently, absorbing every detail. The bond between the elf and the dragon was evident in the way they moved and communicated, a combination of instinct and intelligence that surpassed any human understanding. Megan assisted by analyzing the remaining energy traces left by the enemy ships. Olivia realized that the Horde had left behind markers, traces of their movements and technology. These could be used to track their progress and anticipate future attacks. The team worked tirelessly, merging human analytical skills with the ancient knowledge preserved by Eno. The outpost became a hub of activity, a fusion of past and present technology and magic. As they explored further, Eno projected a map of a hidden gateway, a portal created by the Elvari to connect distant worlds. The energy patterns matched the core of the outpost and indicated a link to other civilizations that had survived in isolation. Olivia understood the significance. Activating this gateway could unite allies, provide resources, and create a network capable of resisting the mechanical horde. The responsibility weighed heavily on her, but she felt a sense of purpose stronger than fear. The next days were a whirlwind of preparation. Human engineers and colonists worked alongside Lysara, who instructed them in the use of ancient technology that had remained dormant for centuries. Varen assisted in moving heavy components and maintaining the defensive perimeters. Olivia directed the integration of the systems, ensuring that the human machinery and Elvari devices worked in harmony. The outpost became a fortress and a laboratory at the same time, alive with energy and potential. The enemy forces had not disappeared. Scouts were detected in nearby star systems, moving with precision and intent. Olivia realized that they were being watched and that the mechanical horde would not wait long before launching a coordinated attack. The team prepared accordingly, using the projections from Eno to anticipate strategies and weaknesses. Every member understood that the survival of multiple civilizations now depended on their actions. Finally, the day came to activate the gateway. Olivia stood with Lysara and Megan as Varen coiled around the chamber, energy flowing from the dragon's body into the crystalline network. Eno's core aligned with the gateway controls and a pulse of light spread through the outpost. Slowly, a shimmering portal formed, revealing a vista of distant stars and unknown planets. The gateway connected not just space but time and memory, a bridge built by a civilization long thought lost. As allies began to emerge through the portal, Olivia felt a sense of awe and hope. These were survivors, scholars, warriors, and beings who had preserved knowledge and culture across the galaxy. They brought with them resources, skills, and determination to resist the Horde. Olivia realized that repairing Eno had started a chain of events that went beyond her imagination. She had become a participant in a story that spanned centuries, linking humans with the ancient Elvari and their dragons. The battle for the outpost became symbolic of a larger war. Olivia, Lysara, Megan, and Varen led the coordination, integrating human mechs, ancient strategies, and dragonfire into a formidable defense. Eno continued to provide guidance and support, its memory projections revealing tactics, history, and warnings. The combined forces of human and Elvari technology began to push back the remnants of the mechanical horde, reclaiming territory and safeguarding the future. Olivia stood on a ridge overlooking the outpost and the portal. The stars beyond shimmered with the promise of allies and knowledge. Lysara beside her nodded, acknowledging the journey that had brought them together and the path that lay ahead. Varen roared, a sound of triumph and power that echoed across the plains. Olivia felt a profound sense of connection, understanding that the actions she had taken in repairing a broken robot had not only preserved history, but had also shaped the future of multiple civilizations. In the quiet moments after the battle, Olivia reflected on the journey. The robot, the elf woman, the dragon, and the gateway were all reminders of the link between past and present, of knowledge and courage. and of the responsibility that came with understanding and action. The adventure that had begun with the simple act of repairing a machine had grown into a mission that could save worlds. Olivia knew that more challenges would come. But with Eno, Lysera, Veyrun, and the allies now connected through the portal, hope had returned to the galaxy. The discovery beyond the stars was more than a revelation. It was a new beginning for all who had survived and for those who would rise to meet the future together.